Welcome to the Explainer. You know, what if I told you that the ultimate playbook for building a killer team wasn't cooked up in some modern boardroom, but was actually laid out by the Buddha himself more than 2,000 years ago?
I mean, think about it. The greatest teams, whether in sports or business or anything else, they're never about everyone being a carbon copy of each other, right? It's all about having a roster of specialists, where every single member is number one in their own unique, crucial skill. That's what makes a team a real powerhouse.
And that's exactly the idea we're going to unpack today, using this incredible ancient Buddhist text, the Sūtra on the Merits of Arhats. It's this fascinating document where the Buddha basically lays out his spiritual dream team, showing off the unique strengths of his most amazing followers.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to look at why this gathering was so important. We'll meet some of the key players, the monks, the nuns, and the everyday folks, and we'll uncover this really profound message that excellence comes in all shapes and sizes.
So let's set the scene. You have to imagine a gathering that's not just a bunch of students, but a collection of true masters. This wasn't just some casual roll call. Nope, this was a big deal, a formal declaration by the Buddha himself, and it was designed to show off the incredible, specialized talent he had in his community.
So, the sutra kicks off at the famous Jetavana monastery. The Buddha is there, surrounded by his followers, and he personally announces, "Hey, I'm about to give a major shout-out to my top disciples for their unique skills." It's kind of like a spiritual awards ceremony, and he's telling everyone, listen up, this is important.
And the people on this list, they weren't just dedicated students, they were arhats. An arhat is a worthy one, someone who has totally put in the work and reached the ultimate goal of enlightenment, or nirvana. You can think of them as the Olympic gold medalists of the spiritual world.
So how did this dream team actually break down? Well, let's start with the first group on the roster, the monks. These were the full-time spiritual athletes, the ones who dedicated their entire lives to the path.
Leading the pack is Śrāvastī. He wasn't just smart. The Buddha calls him the absolute number one, the foremost disciple when it came to profound, deep, analytical wisdom and understanding the teachings like nobody else.
But it wasn't all about intellectual horsepower. Next up, you've got Moudgaliana, and his claim to fame? He was celebrated as being totally unmatched in his psychic or supernatural abilities. So right away, you see a completely different kind of mastery being honored.
And here's where it gets really cool, because it just shows the diversity of the team. We have Opali, who is actually a barber before becoming a monk. His special skill wasn't philosophy or psychic powers. It was being the #1 expert in upholding the monastic rules. You can think of him as the COO of the whole operation, the guy who knew the rulebook inside and out and kept the entire organization running like a well-oiled machine.
Now, this is so important. This recognition wasn't just for the men. In a move that was honestly radical for its time, the Sutra makes a special point to honor the trailblazing women who founded the order of nuns and achieved enlightenment themselves.
Their list is led by this incredible figure, Mahaprajapati. Get this. She was not only the Buddha's foster mother, the woman who raised him, but she was also the very first woman to be ordained as a Buddhist nun. That made her foremost in seniority and experience. What a pioneer!
And just as Shariputra was praised among the monks, the nun Ksyema was honored as being foremost in wisdom among the nuns. The message here is crystal clear. Spiritual genius isn't a men's-only club. In the Buddha's eyes, excellence has no gender.
Okay, so what about everybody else? The people with jobs, with families, living their lives out in the world? Well, the Sutra shows they weren't just fans on the sidelines. They were absolutely essential. They were the very foundation of the whole community.
Now, what's really interesting here is the structure that you start to see. You've got the monastic path, full-time focus on practice. And then you have the lay path, living in the world while also supporting the community. The text presents these not as one being better than the other, but as two different totally complementary ways to contribute to the same goal.
Take a guy like Anathapindata. He was this incredibly wealthy merchant who used his money to become the community's biggest supporter. In fact, he's the one who bought the grove where the Buddha is giving this very talk. He was praised as being #1, foremost, in the virtue of generosity.
And his female counterpart was Vishaka, another huge patron of the community. She was also recognized as being foremost in generosity, using her wealth and influence to make sure the monks and nuns had food, medicine, and shelter.
Their support was the bedrock. I mean, in today's terms, they were like the venture capitalist and angel investors of this whole spiritual startup.
So, let's step back for a second and look at this entire all-star roster. What's the big picture here? What's the ultimate lesson the Buddha was trying to teach?
The crucial thing to get is that this wasn't just a random list of high achievers. No, it was a blueprint for a thriving, balanced, totally inclusive ecosystem. You need the dedicated specialists, you need the trailblazing pioneers, and you need the foundational supporters. Every single group is indispensable. And that right there, that is the ultimate takeaway. The message is baked right into the structure of the list itself. By praising people for being foremost in such wildly different things, wisdom, discipline, psychic power, generosity, he was teaching that there isn't just one way to be excellent. There are many, many paths to the top of the mountain.
So this 2,000-year-old text isn't just a history lesson. It's a timeless guide to building a powerful team. It teaches us to value diversity, to recognize that every single person has a unique strength to bring to the table. And it leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. In your own team, your family, or your community, what is the foremost virtue that only you can bring?